Drake's baby mama, Sophie Brousseau, the woman who claimed the OVO star got her pregnant last year, is currently a painter selling artwork through her own website, but she previously was a video vixen doing softcore porn under the names Rosie Divine and French Rosebud.
You said you're open about porn. What type of porn are you watching? What is your thing?
It's top.
Wow. Holy
highest tier of top givers. That's really what I'm
I see.
Consistently, like on a daily basis.
Drake, you did the same thing twice now. You mentioned Virginia Williams or whatever, Pusha T's wife, and you saw that the gloves off, and we saw what happened. You mentioned Whitney, and Kendrick Lamar's wife name is Whitney. You have to be prepared for anything.
Drake, you've done the same thing twice now. First, you mentioned Virginia Williams, Pusha T's wife, and now you've mentioned Whitney, Kendrick Lamar's wife. If you do this, you have to be prepared for anything. You've been open about your preferences, even discussing the type of porn you watch, which is quite explicit. Drake's baby mama, Sophie Brousseau, who claimed the OVO star got her pregnant last year, is currently a painter selling artwork through her website. She used to be a video vixen doing softcore porn under the names Rosie Divine and French Rose. Drake must have the worst PR team in the world because he keeps making mistakes that hurt his reputation. It seems he won't stop until Kendrick buries his career, and no one takes him seriously. Drake has pulled many petty moves and told lies, and instead of stepping back, he decided to diss Kendrick's fiancée Whitney again. Yes, Drake is coming for Whitney, mocking her looks, and hired a look-alike model for his new OVO clothing brand, referencing Whitney's cameo in Kendrick's viral diss track Not Like Us. This video featured cameos from Whitney and their two children, with Whitney showing off her dance moves and shutting down Drake's attempts to harm her family.
Right now, I feel like I get into this habit of dating like 4 or 5 women to make one woman.
Yeah.
I like these two things
Pieces
about
of
this
each
girl,
one.
and then I like what this girl does for a living.
However, Drake is playing with fire again because sources close to Kendrick say he's ready to go nuclear. Kendrick did say in Not Like Us that the rabbit hole is deep and he can go further if provoked. But this is just the beginning. Whitney is not the first woman Drake has used to get back at men he has issues with. He has a history of shading wives, girlfriends, and even daughters of his rivals. He did it with Pusha T's fiancée, Virginia, DJ Mustard's ex, Rick Ross's ex, and even recently, he was caught creeping on rapper Mo's daughter who just turned 18. It's odd that Drake always disrespects the partners of men he beefs with. Additionally, Drake, pushing 40, has never had a serious relationship publicly. No woman has ever claimed him as her boyfriend for long, and those who did quickly distanced themselves. Drake's weird relationship with women isn't talked about enough. He's shading Kendrick's fiancée Whitney again, and rumors suggest Kendrick might be preparing another diss track. Drake's approach is petty and indirect, hiring a look-alike model to mock Whitney. Fans noticed the resemblance and called Drake out for his behavior, saying it proves he's disconnected from mature relationships and is behaving like a little boy. Addressing men by going after their women is a habit for Drake, which confirms he's a lame. He first tried to portray Whitney as a victim in his diss tracks, but then mocked her if he believes she's a victim. Drake previously referenced Whitney on his diss track Push-Ups, comparing himself to Whitney Houston and making digs at Kendrick's fiancée. In his May diss track Family Matters, Drake alleged Whitney is a victim of domestic violence and that one of her kids is fathered by Kendrick's longtime friend Dave Free. He even implied Kendrick put his hands on Whitney with lyrics suggesting domestic violence. These allegations have no evidence and seem to be based on online gossip. Drake's narrative about Whitney being a victim is inconsistent. If she were truly a victim, mocking her by hiring a look-alike model is insensitive and shows he doesn't care about victims. This behavior is part of a larger pattern, where Drake has shaded women who moved on from him. For instance, he shaded Rihanna after she started a family with A$AP Rocky, despite having publicly proclaimed his love for her for years. And Drake has an obsession with throwing dirt on other men's girlfriends and wives while having no stable public relationships himself. He has all the fame, hit songs, and money, but no woman has publicly claimed him. This raises questions about why women don't stay with him long term. Drake's behavior towards women includes befriending young girls and making moves when they turn 18, as alleged with Kylie Jenner and Bella Harris. This behavior is disturbing and adds to his track record of disrespecting women. Now, he's mocking Kendrick's fiancée Whitney again, which is embarrassing for Drake. Drake might think Kendrick will turn a blind eye, but Kendrick is reportedly preparing to respond strongly. Fans are criticizing Drake, saying his deep-seated issues with women are evident. One fan mentioned Drake's deep insecurities that money and status can't change, making him act like others are the problem. Drake would be an incel if he weren't rich and famous, according to some fans. How do you feel about Drake mocking Kendrick's fiancée Whitney again? Why do you think Drake acts this way towards women? Share your theories in the comments and don't miss the next video. Drake's history of targeting women linked to his rivals is well documented and paints a troubling picture of his approach to conflict and relationships. This behavior extends beyond Kendrick Lamar's fiancée Whitney to other women in the industry and even women he has dated or pursued. When Drake first mentioned Pusha T's fiancée Virginia Williams in a diss track, it marked a significant escalation in their feud. Pusha T responded fiercely, and the gloves came off. Drake's mention of Virginia Williams wasn't just a casual reference. It was a strategic move to provoke Pusha T by targeting someone he cares about deeply. This tactic reveals a pattern in Drake's approach. Instead of engaging his rivals directly, he often chooses to involve their loved ones, hoping to strike a nerve and provoke a reaction. The mention of Whitney, Kendrick Lamar's wife, follows this same pattern. Kendrick and Whitney have a strong, stable relationship, something Drake seems to struggle with. By targeting Whitney, Drake aims to undermine Kendrick by attacking his personal life. However, this strategy is risky. Kendrick is known for his lyrical prowess and his ability to respond effectively to any diss. The gloves are off again, and Kendrick is prepared to go nuclear if pushed further. Drake's openness about his preferences, including discussing the type of porn he watches, adds another layer to his public persona. This level of openness might seem candid, but it also exposes him to criticism and ridicule. By sharing intimate details about his personal life, Drake provides fodder for his critics and rivals who can use this information against him. Sophie Brousseau, Drake's baby mama, has her own history in the public eye. She transitioned from being a video vixen doing softcore porn to a painter selling artwork through her website. Her past as Rosie Devine and French Rose adds to the narrative surrounding Drake's relationships. Despite her transition to a different career, the media and public continue to scrutinize her past and, by extension, Drake's choices. Drake's PR team faces a significant challenge in managing his public image. His repeated missteps, from dissing rivals' partners to sharing too much personal information, hurt his reputation. It seems like Drake won't stop until Kendrick buries his career, making it impossible for anyone to take him seriously. This self-destructive behavior raises questions about Drake's motives and his understanding of the consequences of his actions. Drake's decision to diss Kendrick's fiancée Whitney again is a clear sign that he hasn't learned from his past mistakes. Instead of stepping back and reevaluating his approach, he chose to mock Whitney's looks by hiring a look-alike model for his new OVO clothing brand. This move references Whitney's cameo in Kendrick's viral diss track Not Like Us, where she and their two children showcased their dance moves, effortlessly shutting down Drake's attempts to harm their family. However, Drake is playing with fire. Sources close to Kendrick say he's ready to go nuclear. Kendrick hinted in Not Like Us that the rabbit hole is deep and he can go further if provoked. This warning suggests that Kendrick has more ammunition and is prepared to escalate the conflict if necessary. Whitney is not the first woman Drake has used to get back at men he has issues with. He has a history of shading wives, girlfriends, and even daughters of his rivals. I think this right. He did it with Pusha T's fiancée Virginia, DJ Mustard's ex, Rick Ross's ex, And even recently, he was caught creeping on rapper Mo's daughter, who just turned 18. This pattern of behavior is troubling and highlights Drake's tendency to involve innocent parties in his feuds. Drake's disrespect for the partners of men he beefs with is odd and seems to be a consistent strategy. Additionally, Drake, pushing 40, has never had a serious public relationship. No woman has ever claimed him as her boyfriend for long, and those who did quickly distanced themselves. This lack of stable, long-term relationships raises questions about Drake's ability to maintain healthy personal connections. Drake's weird relationship with women isn't talked about enough. He's shading Kendrick's fiancée Whitney again, and rumors suggest Kendrick might be preparing another diss track. Drake's approach is petty and indirect, hiring a look-alike model to mock Whitney. Fans noticed the resemblance and called Drake out for his behavior, saying it proves he's disconnected from mature relationships and is behaving like a little boy. Addressing men by going after their women is a habit for Drake, which confirms he's a lame. He first tried to portray Whitney as a victim in his diss tracks, but then mocked her. If he believes she's a victim of domestic violence, why attack her instead of Kendrick directly? It's inconsistent and shows he doesn't care about victims. Drake previously referenced Whitney on his diss track, Push-Ups, comparing himself to Whitney Houston and making digs at Kendrick's fiancée. In his May diss track Family Matters, Drake alleged Whitney is a victim of domestic violence and that one of her kids is fathered by Kendrick's longtime friend.